Chapter 1 of Daniel Boone. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by William Tomcho. Daniel Boone by Reuben Gold Thwaites. Chapter 1. Ancestry and Training. The grandfather of Daniel Boone, George by name, was born in 1666 at the peaceful little hamlet of Stoke, near the city of Exeter in Devonshire, England. His father had been a blacksmith, but he himself acquired the weaver's art. In due time George married Mary Moggridge, a young woman 3 years his junior, and native of the neighboring village of Bradninch, whither he had gone to follow his trade. This worthy couple, professed Quakers, became the parents of 9 children, all born in Bradninch: George, Sarah, Squire, Mary, John, Joseph, Benjamin, James, and Samuel. All of these, except John, married and left numerous descendants in America. The elder Boones were ambitious for the welfare of their large family. They were also fretful under the bitter intolerance encountered by Quakers in those unrestful times. As the children grew to maturity, the enterprising weaver sought information regarding the colony which his co-religionist William Penn had, some 30 years previous, established in America, where were promised cheap lands, religious freedom, political equality, and exact justice to all men. There were then no immigration bureaus to encourage and instruct those who proposed settling in America, no news letters from traveling correspondents to tell the people at home about the Western world, or books or pamphlets illustrating the country. The only method which occurred to George Boone, of Bradninch, by which he could satisfy himself regarding the possibilities of Pennsylvania as a future home for his household, was to send out some of his older children as prospectors. Accordingly, somewhere about 1712, 1714, family tradition says, young George, aged from 22 to 24 years, Sarah, a year and a half younger, and Squire, born November 25, 1696, were dispatched to the promised land, and spent several months in its inspection. Leaving Sarah and Squire in Pennsylvania, George returned to his parents with a favorable report. On the 17th of August, 1717, the Boones, parents and children, bade a sorrowful but brave farewell to their relatives and friends in old Bradninch, whom they were never again to see. After journeying some 80 miles over rugged country to the port of Bristol, they there entered a sailing vessel bound for Philadelphia, where they safely arrived upon the 10th of October. Philadelphia was then but a village. Laid out like a checkerboard, with architecture of severe simplicity, its best residences were surrounded by gardens and orchards. The town was substantial, neat, and had the appearance of prosperity, but the frontier was not far away. Beyond outlying fields, the untamed forest closed in upon the little capital. The fur trade flourished, but 2 or 3 days' journey into the forest, and Indians were frequently seen upon the streets. When, therefore, the Boones decided to settle in what is now Abingdon, 12 or 14 miles north of the town, in a sparse neighborhood of Quaker farmers, they at once became backwoodsmen, such as they remained for the rest of their lives. They were, however, not long in Abingdon. Soon after, we find them domiciled a few miles to the northwest in the little frontier hamlet of North Wales, in Gwynedd Township. This was a Welsh community whose members had a few years before turned Quakers. Sarah Boone appears, about this time, to have married one Jacob Stover, a German who settled in Oley Township, now in Berks County. The elder George Boone, now that he had become accustomed to moving, after his long, quiet years as a Devonshire weaver, appears to have made small ado over folding his family tent and seeking other pastures. In 1718 he took out a warrant for 400 acres of land in Oley, and near the close of the following year removed to his daughter's neighborhood. This time he settled in earnest, for here in Oley, or rather the later subdivision thereof called Exeter, he spent the remainder of his days, dying in his original log cabin there, in 1744, at the age of 78.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?